All right, so this week we're going to do a ground up WordPress install. So we're going to start with a fresh server and install an entire blog website from scratch, installing all the software we need, all the both the web software and the server software, and getting things configured at kind of a basic level. So I don't have a new server set up. I have just a demo server that I've been using this semester with just a root user on it. So we'll start here. You can spin up a new server for this, or if you already have one running with the requisite software going, you can use that one too. Before we get started, just want to make sure that all of our dependencies and our security patches are updated. So let's check and make sure we have everything. So there's a few things, and we're going to go ahead and install those. So this is just the standard apt-get update, apt-get upgrade. And it's been a few weeks since I've done it on this particular machine, so it can't hurt to run those. And again, this is a good habit to get into when we start a brand new server. We want to make sure that everything that's installed is updated. So once this finishes, we can get going with our other installs. Okay. So now the next thing we want to do is get all the software we need installed to run WordPress, which is going to be the blogging platform that we're going to use. So with apt-get, we can run all of these commands at the same time. So we can install everything we need in one fell swoop. So here we're going to do an apt-get install, and we need Apache 2, PHP 5, MySQL Server, and PHP 5 MySQL, which are the bindings between PHP and MySQL. They're what allow PHP to talk to the database and to make our WordPress site work. This is also typically called a LAMP stack, and since we already have the L of the LAMP stack Linux, we just need Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So go ahead and hit return here, and we'll say yes. I already have some of these packages installed, so it won't need to install that many for me, just the PHP 5 MySQL bindings. And now we should be ready to go. So I should have a version of PHP installed. I should have a version of MySQL installed. Oops. There we go. And I should be able, and I also should have a version of Apache installed. And we can double check that by just jumping into var ww, and I do have some stuff going on in there, and also etc Apache 2, and we should have our files there as well. All right, we also want to make sure that we can log into our MySQL account. And that we can view things. So I have a pretty much a basic MySQL install here. Nothing has changed, and I don't believe there are any users added either. We just have the root user. So we're going to come back to this in a sec, but we generally don't want to use the root user for our MySQL database. We want to create a database and a user specifically for WordPress. We're going to come back to that in a sec, but before we do that, I want to get the WordPress files downloaded onto our server. So just to quickly recap before we do that, we have a fresh install of Ubuntu, or an Ubuntu server with root access that we've been using. We've installed PHP 5, Apache 2, MySQL Server, and the PHP 5 MySQL bindings. This allows PHP to talk to MySQL, and it will make everything work. All right. So if we jump out to WordPress.org, this is where we're going to get access to our files. And if we go to the download WordPress 351, we see we have a couple of options here. We have a zip file, and we also have a tar.gz. So let's go ahead and copy the link to the tar.gz. We'll go Control, copy link address. And then we can jump back over to our terminal, make sure we're in our home page, or our home directory, which we are, and then we can use a program called wget. And wget will go out and fetch a URL and then download the endpoint of that URL to our machine. So if we type wget and then paste in our URL, we should be able to download our file. You can see here it gives you a little progress bar, but it was fast enough that it didn't need it. Hopefully that all downloaded. And there we go, latest.tar.gz. So now what do we do with that tar.gz? Well, what we can use is the tar command and then give it a flag of zxvf and then point that at the tar. And what this will do is ungzip it and untar it, and this will give us access to the actual files. So if we go ahead and hit enter, you'll see everything kind of unloads there. And then if we do a quick list all, we can see we have a WordPress directory here now. So if we go into WordPress, and list it, we can see we have all of our WordPress files ready to go. So what we can do is we can leave our WordPress folder there for now, and we'll come back to it once we have our database set up and ready to go.